Hello everyone, so this is your fourth lecture on general anatomy and the topic we are covering right now is gross structure of long bone. So gross means macroscopic, that is which we can look through our naked eye. Also this is your long bone, consider this as your one of the long bone, that is humerus, radius, ulna, tibia, fibula, femur. So in the long bone here we have three parts: head, base and your shaft region. This is your shaft region. It is made up of compact bone as we have discussed in the previous lecture, and this side head is known as spongy bone, and now the spongy bone is covered of hyaline cartilage. The head region, as you can see, is covered of hyaline cartilage. First of all, this is head, this region is your shaft, and this region is again your head for now. Head is also known as epiphysis. Now epiphysis has a covering of epiphyseal plate, which between shaft and epiphysis we have metaphysis present over here. Same here, we have metaphysis present. Metaphysis and shaft is diaphysis, is also known as diaphysis. So head is known as epiphysis, shaft is known as diaphysis, and between head and shaft, that is epiphysis and diaphysis, we have metaphysis present. Hyaline cartilage covers our epiphysis region, and here in the center we have medullary cavity. It has bone marrow, that is our yellow bone marrow and red bone marrow present. So here we have completed the gross structure of long bone, and now we will learn about ossification. So here we will learn about the two terms, that is primary ossification and secondary ossification. Primary ossification is the bone which is formed before birth. That is, if we look at a child's x-ray, the newborn child x-ray, you will see that there is a shaft of all the bones formed, but there is no forming of head, that is epiphysis region is not yet formed. Whereas secondary ossification is bone that is formed after birth, that is the epiphysis region of a long bone that is formed after birth and not before birth. So before birth only shaft region is formed. So now we will learn about classification of epiphysis. So epiphysis is classified into four types, that is pressure epiphysis, traction epiphysis, atavistic epiphysis and aberrant epiphysis. Now pressure epiphysis is the epiphysis where there is transmission of weight, that is weight is being transferred from one bone to a joint, muscle or ligament. That is head of humerus. Example is head of humerus. That is the head of humerus. I'll show the image here, where the head of humerus is attached to the glenoid cavity of scapula, and it has the weight, it has the function of transmission of weight. Now traction epiphysis is the epiphysis where its only primary function is the attachment to muscle. It has only one function, that is attachment to muscle, that is epicondyle of humerus. Humerus has many parts. We will learn about humerus in separate lecture where we are going to discuss humerus. Also atavistic epiphysis, it is evolutionary in nature. That means if we see in our ancestors, it was a complete different bone. Now it is not, it is being joined into another bone. For example, coracoid process of scapula. Here this is a scapula, this is the posterior region of scapula, and this is the posterior region of scapula, and this is the anterior region of scapula. So if you see in posterior region of scapula, this is your coracoid process. This is your coracoid process and it is attached to scapula, but in our ancestors it was a complete different bone. So this is known as atavistic epiphysis. Aberrant epiphysis, that is, it is abnormally present. For example, head of first metacarpal. Head of first metacarpal is usually not present, but it can be abnormally present. So it is known as aberrant epiphysis. So here is the classification of your epiphysis. We have four types of epiphysis: pressure, traction, atavistic and aberrant. We have learned the structure of long bone, the gross structure of long bone, that is very, very important. And then again we have learned the classification of epiphysis, and we have learned about primary ossification and secondary ossification. So here we have completed our lecture. Thank you so much.